Back in our shipping class, we are now going to create the setType default method, which we've used inside of the default.php file. So public function setType default, and we pass in two parameters. First one is the ID of the record, by default null, and a second one is whether it's local or not. And by default, we're going to set it to 0. Now we're checking if is an empty ID, then we deal with our code, otherwise return false. First thing, SQL statement, we're going for update this table to, we go for set default equals 0, where local equals, and we pass this local variable here, this parameter, inside of a curly brackets. We're doing this, we don't have to check because the record which we're passing here, basically the values populated from the database originally doesn't come from the user input. So we don't have to be worried about filtering this one specifically here. And then we're going for and ID does not equal, and we're going to use int val here ID. We could also use the curly brackets here because it's again coming from a database, but let's keep it this way. Then we do if this db query and a SQL statement. If it's successful, then everything is good, otherwise we return false again. If the query has been successfully executed, what we can do now is to copy this whole statement, and what we're going to do here, we just change the default to 1 for the local and for the same ID, only this time, rather than is not the ID, we want to find the record with this ID and make it obviously default by assigning 1 to it. Then return this db query and a SQL which we've just created.